Oh,
Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blackert,
and I'm Lianka Reina.
and this is the How Hustle Morning Show. Today's topic is, are the Draconians winning? And
Right.
Bianca and I have some unique hidden little conversation. It's why we chose that topic. And we're just going to roll today and really see where this uncovers, right? Because it starts with, hey, there's a simple point of view, right? And then that simple point of view then becomes almost our identity. And we operate our entire lives based on this identity. And what if we no longer had to live by these lies that we might have made up when we were 16 years old?
Or that we bought as pre-programming.
Yep,
I have an argument for that more than the lies that it is the lies that we tell ourselves, but the lies that we bought from our pre-programming. So it'll be interesting conversation, right?
absolutely. Let me tell you where this came from. I listened once again to the QHHT session that I did with Lianka. And in the sessions, basically, you float along on a cloud and you end up in, wherever your subconscious mind wants to take you. So it's just like, she will ask questions about, well, for Jenna's greatest good, where might we land in the timeline? And so the short story is it took me back first to when I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I was just a free child with my grandma. And she basically just adored me and loved me. And I really felt free. Like there was even, you could hear it in my voice. I would see myself like, running off barefoot over to my Aunt Babe's house and playing with this dog that used to talk and the parrot and things like that, right? And I was like, all right, well, that's interesting. There's not really much turmoil to process here. But what happened was there was this awareness that, wow, when I was a child, I really was this free child. And my grandma used to tell me these beautiful ghost stories. And I just kind of didn't, I kind of thought that it was normal then.
And her dog was named Spooky. So
And her
she
dog was named Spooky.
em-
Yeah.
embodied the paranormal as part of her. I would even argue, maybe without knowing her, when you were taking me through this, as part of her normal everyday life. Like it was,
Mhm.
you were explaining to me later that it was very common for her to share these stories. And she had, in fact, her own experience, which she believes might be an extraterrestrial experience, or what I interpret had might have been an extraterrestrial experience. Isn't that really
Mhm.
fascinating? And you found that joy around with your grandma, and you probably always had that joy.
Mhm. Yeah. And
Even your
some,
voice was different.
I
It
know,
was,
it was
yeah,
almost like I sounded like a little child in it.
yes, yes. And that's what's really fascinating about the QHHT process is that it is your own voice. And it's your own subconscious taking
Wild.
and leading you through these things. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about what happened next.
Well, and so I'm like in one of the later scenes, even that's off of Earth, I'm like, I'm too young to fly to another planet. She asked a question like, could you go? Can you leave the house? Like, what is it like? Like, what's going on? And she had me look at all the things. I'm going to try to make this a short story so that we can really get some processing in around identity shifting and identity makeover. But I wanted to give you kind of the platform of where this came from. Hello, Manisha. Hello, everyone. Hello, Joe. Hello, Alicia. Hello, CC. Hello, Alan.
Hi.
Hello, Lianka.
Hi.
Uh, well,
Yeah,
so
so
the baby
yeah, let's
story,
get
the
into the
simple
sure,
story.
sure, sure.
Let
Yes.
me just go through
Yeah.
the three paradigm
Yes.
shifts,
Please
right?
do.
Okay. So started 8 years old at grandma's house here on planet Earth. And I was just in love. In fact, I even like broke down in tears, like, oh, it just feels like love. And then we got done with that situation. And then we moved on over to, I was 16 years old, and it was a birthday party that my mom crafted this beautiful dinner for my inner circle of close friends. It had a menu and a bunch of Italian dishes that we could choose from. There was like a lasagna and a spaghetti and meatballs or chicken parmesan. And she had all these, and then people could just come and they would order off the menu. And that ordering off the menu was like, just kind of a really special happy birthday party. And my mom came up with the idea and put the whole things together. And I was a real bitch to her that day, for the lack of a better word.
Well,
I
you're a
was just like,
teenager. Yeah.
yeah, I was a teenager. I was a snotty little teenager. And I was like, ugh, this didn't happen and that didn't happen. And I'm mad about this and I'm mad about that. And, it's just being a teenager with like this epic expectation where nobody could have even fulfilled that expectation. Right.
Right, right. So just to give specifics, it was basically you had handed out these invitations to people that, in your class, they or not even in your class, maybe
That,
you
that
didn't
weren't
know them.
they weren't
Yeah,
even
weren't
like
even
real
really even
friends.
friends. But there's everyone can relate with this story,
So,
right?
I had a good little inner circle of like 10 or 15 of us where we had this birthday party. And you would think that if you have, at least 10 friends that are close and they're all there and they're sitting down at the dinner table celebrating your birthday, there would be some sort of gratitude, some sort of fulfillment. But in my head, after this dinner, I wanted all these people to come to the house and have this big, big party, that those some of those big parties that I used to go to at other people's places, and nobody came for the after party that day. And I got really grumpy and I really took it out on my mom. And
Well,
I
and I think it's
somewhere,
important to also say about how you gave it to like people you may not even have known, and like it's
Mhm,
at your parents' house, so it's like they may not even know your parents, and you're only 16 or you're 15 at the time because you were turning
right.
16, and like, it's all these different challenges, but lo and behold, like, okay, you're mad, like no one showed, which I'm sure lots of us on this call can relate. I've had that time too, and I just
Yeah,
gotta shake it off, right?
right. Well,
But
and
it,
yeah,
yeah.
really what came through and came up was nobody likes me.
Mhm.
And Leonka said, well, is that your point of view? Or is that, this boy's point of view that I really wanted to come? I kind of wanted him to be a part of it. I wanted to show him that I was popular too, and this, that, and the other. And or was that, a point of view you're perceiving? And it really came very clear that I, at that moment, created that point of view that, quote, nobody likes me. And maybe you've heard that going through your head at some time, because I think that that is one of those collective tickers that go through a lot of our heads. And I was really just listening to this and I'm laying there thinking of it. And I was like, wow, I've kind of lived all my life having this internal nobody likes me feeling. And it was just like, I just chose this point of view one day of my life. And then I was thinking about all the other things around my identity that really got locked in. And I operated based on that quote point of view, but it's almost
Mhm.
an identity reference. When I started to look at, well, if that party had never happened, who would I be? Right? How would I be? How might I reach out and speak to people? Another thing that I have going on is that sometimes I just feel like people make fun of me for being really loud. And it's like, wait, has anybody actually ever said that to me? Or have I just come to a conclusion of this? And I'm
Ah,
sharing this
mm-hmm,
with you so
mm-hmm.
that all of you can really get this, like, what are the things that I might have had, like, maybe even a little bit of trauma? I wouldn't say that me, being a
No,
snotty teenager was trauma.
let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Would you have, if we were in a session, like with a talking session, not in QHHT, do you think that you would have brought up that time?
No, because
Right.
that was just it was just like stuffed back there in the back
Yes,
corner.
right.
Like, why would I even look at that?
It's very interesting how our
Yeah.
subconscious and so this is your higher soul will go to the places that your subconscious has stored within your memory that again maybe back there, maybe stuffed, maybe you didn't know that you had this first launching point of those feelings. And it's
Hmm.
very interesting how it showed you where you had the joy and you were like joy, you could hear it in your voice and you were young, just like
Yep.
many of us start out with this joy and this appreciation for life. And then we hit into our teenage years. And I don't know if our programming, this pre-programming like shifts on because I think a lot of people can relate to the fact that we're
Hmm.
saying that no one likes me. You start to feel insecure. You might start to have that unworthiness. And
Hmm.
then you pulled that out. I mean, you
Yeah.
had it showed you these two stark differences. And I thought that was
Yeah.
really fascinating and very smart of your oversoul.
Yeah.
Both, this
And
is
it
the
it
part of
goes
you connected to
way
source.
out, way out that
Yeah.
from here on. And now we're gonna go into outer space from here. So that was kind of that simple awareness. And then the last place that I went was not on this planet. And we were being attacked by another planet, literally a star war, right? Um, and it was sort of a really beautiful purple planet, and there were things coming down from the sky, and it was kind of like this golden light, but it was actually like meteorites like hitting our planet, things like that. And my life was pretty normal. And I woke up that one day and kind of found out that our planet was being destroyed. And in the QHHT, Evan said the name of the planet. And that like gave me this awareness of, wow, these little tiny planetary things are, why do we make them so significant? And why might we live a whole lifetime based on a simple point of view? And there's a lot more here, but I'll let Lianka kind of play with me here because I
Yeah.
just wanted to
So
get
one of the things,
these three C's
sure.
out.
Yes. So one of the things that you told me and after listening to, so this two things I just wanted to point out, kind of like a little PSA. It's important that you, for these reasons, this is why QHHT is such a longer process and
Mhm.
in a one-on-one because you will go sometimes you may end up where you're dying. And sometimes people will be in their session and they'll hit that place and they're like, "Rah!" yelling, right? So it's
Mhm.
important that the QHHT practitioner be able to, okay, can you remove yourself and just be an observer? And so they're able to really reframe some of these places and traumas with you. So it's really important that you do have a guide working with you that can observe you through these progressions of your life or lifetimes when she was talking about so I made her re-listen to her replay because I kept getting my guide was telling me she needs to listen to her replay. She needs to listen to her
Mhm.
replay.
Yep.
And she had some resistance and then she finally listened to her replay. But one of the things she told me about the awareness that she got while she was sitting with her replay was that in the time of planetary upheaval, there is a war that's going on, and that it whether you consider it the Draconians or whether you consider it a negative force, whatever that looks like for whatever your belief systems are, that's fine. But we are in a war or in a battle for our soul here on Earth, and if you subscribe to the idea that we did come in with some pre-programming
Mhm.
here and not necessarily come in with pre-programming, but there is pre-programming when you are here on Earth because it's so dense. And when you remember the idea that we forgot, we have amnesia, we signed up for this lesson here, and it is our the way in which we win this war on Earth and change things and in ourselves is to look at these different things really even quickly. You don't have to stay in the doom and gloom of the story, but find your ways in which you don't have to subscribe to these ideas that we have been saying to ourselves and these pre-programmed enslavement ideas, right? Because what's the fastest way to keep us enslaved? Keep us on what my subconscious told me was, Leonka, do you think that we would have war if people felt worthy? And I
Uh-huh.
thought, wow, if we had worthiness within us, we wouldn't have a predisposition for war. Now, would we have enslavement if we didn't have fear? Maybe not. Because what keeps us enslaved is those pieces of the unworthiness and fear. So, how is the fastest way to keep us
Yeah. Well,
processing
and
more
let me
negative
let me just play
information?
on this a little
Is
bit so that
yes,
makes
hang on,
even more
hang
sense.
on.
Yes, I will.
You're about to make me lose my point. Is to continue to play this war out within our own soul.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can choose to the light versus the lie, then every time one of us gets free, more of us get free. And it's not a one to one, it is a one to
Yeah.
many. As my light turns on, bing, five more lights come on. Don't quote me on the numbers, but there is numbers out there. This is how we win the battle of our humanity. This is how
Yes.
we win the battle for New Earth. Okay, go ahead.
No, no, I love where you're going with this. And I wouldn't even say, I believe that just us coming out there and sharing these stories, you gotta look at your life and go, wait, I've also had a point of view when I was a teenager, and how is that showing up in my life now? Right? And how might me sharing this change you too? I mean, it's not just going to be 1 to 5 other people because it's also the frequency of the whole change too,
Oh, yes,
right?
yes,
It's not
yes.
just it's not just the outward expression of it, but it's the inward expression of it. It's becoming it. But I've often thought when I've been coaching people over years and years and years, when people come to me to prove how great they are, how much they're right, how righteous they are, those are usually the people that are the most unworthy.
Or the
And
most they're
because,
most experiencing
right,
unworthiness. No one's unworthy.
yeah,
We're all beautiful souls here.
right, expressing
Yeah,
unworthiness might be
correct.
a better
Yeah.
word. But if you think about the people out there that are so proving they're right, and you think, poor you, because you actually they probably have this level of unworthiness and they're using all this proving energy to show you that they actually are worthy. And I find that the more I work with people and the people that smile a lot and act like everything's perfect and put together, those are usually the people that have the most unworthiness. So wouldn't it make sense if they've got a point of view that they aren't good enough and they've got to fight and prove to be right and fight and prove to be right, and then they conclude that they're right, wouldn't it make sense that other people would have a different point of view because that person's point of view that was driven from that unworthiness is not actually the frequency that lays in the field? Does this make sense? I can
Yes.
say it again if it doesn't, because it's kind of a layered thing. And it's not just a layered thing on unworthiness. It could be a layered thing upon lack, right? It could be, I mean, how many people, do you know that really have no money, yet they will buy like 1 or 2 super expensive things and then talk about how, they'll talk about money all the time, talk about it, talk about it, talk about it, prove that they're doing it, prove that it's doing it right. And yet it's not real. It's that they have to show that that they have to show that they're right. So, I mean, geez, I mean, it's like, how far down the rabbit hole do we need to go down, Alice?
Right. Let me just ask for the audience. Okay. So Joe said, what if everyone was worthy? Yes. Okay. So that's the point we wanted to get to here. What if we didn't have to fight for it? Yes.
Well, that's
So
where we're trying to get this
yes. So
reality.
what Jeneth is pulling out is maybe your real world situations, right? So maybe those places where you might feel something. And I'm just going to say, for honesty, like there are times where I feel like I don't have confidence. And it's even in a reading or whatever, it would be like, you don't feel you have confidence. And I'm like, I do have confidence. I did this, and this, right? So that's
Yeah,
that
and then you had to prove it.
idea of proving, correct. And I'm
Mhm.
just sharing that because there are so many places where I said, well, yes, I've got confidence. Of course I got confidence. I gave these presentations and did all this stuff. But where is that really rooted? And for me, when I did my sessions, it showed me different places of where my higher self connected to source, right? So we have an oversoul connected to source. Because if you brought everything here into your body, we blow these bodies out because it's just too
Mhm.
much energy to hold. So I was shown a place where I had, because I grew up a singer and I tried out for American Idol. I did. And I was really young and I shot my voice out that day and it was cold because we were waiting out in the cold day. We wait all day, right? But it really hurt my pride because that was one of my God-given gifts. So having that experience then set me up to want to shy away from being on the stage or being around or putting even any really feeling and love back into the performance. I just had a bad performance that day, right? I just had no voice to show up with. But
Mhm.
I didn't know I was letting that dictate other places in my life, but I was operating for this modus operandi that was already there. Now, if you think about it, when all of us have a hero's journey. Now, because of the internet, we're able to share more of these stories. But I was talking with Jonathan when we first were working together over 12 years ago. We were talking one day. I said, why is it that everybody has these same words? And I don't care if you're in a different language that run through their head. It's like, I don't think I'm good enough for that, or I don't know if I can do that. It's not me, or I'm too shy, or everyone else can do it but me, or everyone else seems to be making money and they're putting their programs out and stuff but me, or
Mhm.
everyone else is getting everyone to come to things to the party, right? Everyone else is getting people to come to the party
Mhm.
and they're not showing up for me. Or people would have these different things like I'm too fat, I'm too whatever, insert your words, right? But it didn't matter we who we talked to. And as we had talked with thousands of people. And as we talked to more and more people, the same words, word for word, were showing up. And it's not like everybody got on the phone and said there and say, hey, I'm going to start putting this in my head, right?
Mhm.
It's not like we had this big meeting at 16 or 17, like I'm going to start telling myself this. These are the
Mhm.
words I'm going to say. No, they
Mhm.
just appeared there.
Yeah.
And where did we buy those from? The collective.
Yeah.
As one is running this program, more are running the program. Now, it was easy for us to stay in that program while we didn't have things like the internet or, maybe the books that were used to be on tapes, right? Like maybe Abraham Hicks was on tape, and you had this metaphysical idea way, back then, and it was just like this one aisle, this like one secret aisle down the library, right? And you just like kind of, and I talk with so many different people that talk about these experiences, but now that we have much more forums, more places to come like this to express what we've been feeling and say this honestly, right? To have a real conversation, say, hey, I've had that day where I felt like nobody showed up to my party, right? Or
Oh.
I had that day where I felt like defeated and my ego was really bruised by that day, trying out on stage and getting
Mhm.
rejected.
Yeah.
And where are we still running our lives from those places?
Right.
Many of us are. And it was never even ours.
Well, I
They
think the
just
bigger
appeared
question is,
there.
where did it come from in the first place?
Well, and that's the
Yeah.
idea about the Draconian War, right? It's the reptilian brain that continues to run those programs in the background. And as we break free through and using processes, using our tools, using breath work,
Mhm.
whatever it is, using QHHT to uncover that, whatever those, hypnosis is great, self-hypnosis is great too. Whatever those things are for you
Mhm.
to quickly help you get out of that looping, right?
Mhm.
Once you hear those things, that is when you rise and ascend further.
Mhm.
And as we're learning and as we're sharing more of this, more of us are again becoming awakened. But yes, it came from the idea of the, abusive drive to the draconian war. Yes, it comes from that pre-programming of our reptilian brain. And we
Mhm.
have, this is why, and the lessons that I think are most, this is what's creating the human experience, the hero's journey here on earth. Man, let's not do that anymore. Let's not. We don't have to.
Right.
Let's just blow past that shit and
Well,
really
I
step
think that that's,
into.
I mean, how many shows do we have? And we try
Yeah.
to, unearth these limiting beliefs,
Oh,
these
I get
limiting
it.
beliefs. And
Yep.
I don't really want to go there anymore, to be honest, right?
I
Like
agree.
I'm done
But
saying,
you may be, but most people, they probably couldn't, that's why we keep saying it, is because we want people to be able to relate. And look,
mhm,
I still fall back into my pre-programming. There are many
mhm,
times, especially when I'm driving, I have no idea why. It's getting better.
uh-huh,
Uh, that we can let shit get us funky. And the faster we can get back to, even through sound vibration, the faster that we can get back to our higher vibrancy, right? The
right,
frequency, we can now go and really design our lives. Like we don't have to keep buying that shit anymore. We know the lie. We're
right,
calling it out right here. Y'all feel it. Y'all know.
right.
This is the lie. This is the collective that we have kept in place. This is the war.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, how much do we say am I in the universe or is the universe in me?
Aha.
And if you really embrace that line of thinking, you go, wow, these fights that we had, and I didn't even share the last fight when I was on this other planet and some of the awareness that came, but I was thinking, well, that fight, to be honest, it's cool that it looked like another planet and I had this whole visual and everything. But really, the awareness is it's just a fight. It's just a fight for someone else's opinion, somebody else's point of view. What I got from it was this galactic confederation of us in consciousness. Ultimately, it's really about this movement of these higher beings, the Arcturians, the Palladians, the Lemurians, whatever they may be, they're here supporting us. And there is these other darker creatures and to to disrupt us. And what if a piece of Earth
Just say
is
yes.
being manipulated and being given these collective points of view to keep
Yes.
us doubting, to keep us
Right?
lacking, to keep us
Enslaved.
still and stuck. And that was really the grand awareness of the whole thing that I was just, I know it's not like rocket science. It's sometimes I feel like we do come out with these like huge things on the show, but it was really, gosh, just this simple thing that, what if everything and every point of view we start to question again and
Yes.
start to go, you know,
I
if I
can hear my guides
identify,
saying
yeah,
yes.
I if I identify myself, right? And I go through Jenneth is this. Jenneth is a talker. Jenneth is loud. Jenneth is a conclusionarian. Sometimes she's
That's
getting
funny.
better about it.
That's funny.
Right. Jenneth is a control freak. Jenneth is OCD about her sleep. Jenneth is this, like whatever that those are, you can do it for yourself, right? You can put your name on the top of the page and say, here are what my identity markers are. And there could be good ones in there, like ambitious inspiring, right? We can go through those too. But I really think whether they're good, bad, right, or wrong, we go
Yes.
through every single one of them and question, you know,
Yeah.
was there a place in time that I concluded that thing about me, that I wasn't smart, that I wasn't likable, that I wasn't lovable, right? And go, huh, was it really, did I just do that to protect myself, or did I do that because it was actually true? So
Now,
let's just do a quick clearing.
yeah, I like this. Yes.
So if there's any points of view about your identity that is bubbling to the surface and nobody actually said it to you, you just thought it in your head, and now this is bringing it back up. Everything that brings up, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate those things, please?
Yes.
One, two.
And everywhere where you, yes, take a breath.
Yeah. It, gosh, doesn't I mean, in essence, we are just like ether. You know, there's just this ether coming through us. I mean, and this ether that comes through us is out, not even in the physical,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes.
We actually are that nothing space, or that spaciousness, or that everything space.
Yes.
Just
Because we,
because we can see us doesn't mean that that's it. That's all of us.
but we win whenever we can be step back and be the observer.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm triggered and can get triggered, whenever I can step back, and the fastest way that I can be the observer again,
Mhm.
using any of those tools that we described, I then reclaim my power,
Mhm.
or I then reclaim my fullness of my essence, my
Mhm.
true. We are all infinite beings. And as an infinite being, would you ever need to doubt, or would you even need to be worthy or have someone's approval? As an infinite being, would
Right?
you need fear?
No. And when, I mean,
We are I can't even describe how amazing, this is my guide striking, how amazing each one of you are as an expanded infinite being. But we made the vow to come to earth, to forget, to have these experiences, to ascend collectively, and to record. And as we do, we sometimes forget, and we replay the old programming that allows the draconian reptilian race to siphon off our energy.
mhm.
But if we could remember that we have all of this beauty, all of this infinite being that is connected to source, and only a small sliver of that is here having this human experience.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
the faster we can connect back to our source, my camera fell off.
And there's all the heat that's rushing into
Right?
Texas right now.
I was like, I put my hand down on the table. Is is how again we win the battle for our soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Kishara said, "Oh my gosh, preach it, girls."
Dude, I I feel like I've spent a lifetime talking about limiting beliefs and how to clear this and that and these little like light floaty things. It's almost like these light floaty things are like just maybe a itty bitty piece, and there's nothing at the core root. I mean, this is like a complete identity makeover that we're talking about. It's like take it from the raw and
It's
really,
like an identity stripping, right?
yeah, it's like
It's
identity
like,
stripping.
yeah, this is
Yeah.
the strip
I'm so
party, the
ready.
strip poker over here.
And it just is so liberating too. I
Yeah.
I mean, there is a reason for fear for a physical body, right? If a lion or a tiger is chasing you,
Yes.
getting
Yes.
those adrenals going, it's a really good idea, right? There's a place for that. But in the places that we use it, like, oh my God, I'm so scared to just like say something that somebody doesn't want to hear, but it's my, it's how I see things. It's like, oh, you're afraid of that? Okay. It's like you're afraid to even like voice something because you're afraid you're going to be rejected. It's like,
Right.
really? You're afraid of rejection? Interesting. Among like everything that be going on in this entire world, this entire planet, that's what you're afraid of. Hmm.
Yeah. I would
Right.
say yeah. Because it got rejected on stage, right?
Yeah.
I
You
put
got
a gift out
rejected
there.
and yeah, you did
It
bad.
hurt.
It hurt and you're gonna live by it the rest of your life. And good on
Boo.
you. I so I mean that
How
we
selfish of me.
So the we wanted to share this with you guys because we have this upcoming summit going on that's actually based on some of these paradigm shifts. And it's called Mystic Channel, The Force Awakens. It starts May 26th and it goes through May 30th. It's a full week. There's 3 speakers a day that Lianka has personally worked with to craft messages to really help us uh, awaken back to what we actually are without all this lockup and limitation.
That's
And
right.
so that's one of the reasons yesterday, when we're planning the summit event, and then I'm realizing, wow, one of the things in my QHHT session actually was a Star War.
Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
And I was like, this couldn't. And then, right when
That's
we're like
right.
putting the summit together, Lianka's like, did you listen to your session in October? Did you listen to your session? And I mean, she like nagged the heck out of me to the
My
point that
guides
I'm
wouldn't
like,
let up. It was your
maybe.
guide, actually. She's like, tell Janet she needs to listen to her. And
Okay.
sometimes if I give Janet
So,
the a suggestion, Janet will brush me off. Like sometimes she's just not hearing me. And I don't really care because I know we work together that way. Because if she wants to do it, she'll do it. And then this one, it just didn't let me, it didn't, her guide did not let up. It was like,
talk
tell
about
Janet she
nag, you know?
like
Nag
it
was a
was
good
your
dog.
guide. Like, okay, I'll tell her again. I was like, I'm gonna tell her. And I told her guide, I was like, I'm gonna tell her you're telling her.
So we made a deal.
We
And
did.
since Lianka's kind of had an energy slowdown, an actual physical energy thing, I'm like, I've been saying for a few months now, go to an acupuncturist.
Probably a
So I
year.
said, you go to an acupuncturist, I'll listen to this. And we did, and we both feel a lot better.
It's amazing. Amazing. Yes. And
Yeah.
so where we are ignoring our own guides, right? And this is another reason why we love this community because we really are able to share this for each other. Like, hey, I'm really receiving this for you. And as y'all become closer, and I encourage it too, especially in our inner circle, we have the Mystique Society, and they share, they put pictures up, they say, what they've been receiving from their guides. When we have the calls, which we have one on Wednesday, I'll be hosting and
Yes.
running that one for us, and we'll be doing a lot of clearing. It'll be fun. But lots of times people chime in and they're like, "Hey, I'm really getting this for you. Psychically, I'm receiving to tell you this." And where are we ignoring our own knowing, right? Did it take for Janet to tell me to go see the acupuncturist? Probably. Did I know that and I was receiving that from my own guides? Absolutely.
Yeah, but there's an uncomfortable zone with
Yes.
doing new things.
Yes.
And I get that, right? It's like, and there's also the conclusion in the back, like,
It's
really,
not going to
do I
work.
really need this? Do I really want to take the time for this? Do
That's
I
it right
really,
there.
yeah, right? Like you've got all the reasons why and all the excuses.
When
And
I could feel
how
better.
how much of all that stuff that's out of your comfort zone that you make all the excuses for, how much of that is your identity?
Hmm.
Not just yours, all of ours, right?
Collective, yes.
It's our
Hmm.
collective. Because
Yeah.
you're like, ooh, opportunity to go roller skating with a new set of friends. Yet there's with a lot of people, there's this hesitation because it's something totally different, something
Yeah.
totally new, and they're, mm-mm, you know,
I don't want to. I'm
that's
not
our
gonna.
identity through
Yeah.
from something. Like, so, Lianka, with this, I wonder, was there something in your life, or were there excuses reeling in your head that were actually palpable? Palpable.
Yeah, a couple. One was that I didn't know if I wanted to commit the time, the
Mhm.
money. I didn't know if I wanted to I didn't know how much it was going to change. So I just didn't know if I believed it, even though I do believe it. Like, I think it works great for other people.
But it's
I
not gonna
mean,
work for me.
I don't know. Like, it's ridiculous almost because I'm willing to spend time and money, like, and what was it costing me? It was
Mhm.
costing me time and money, right? Like, if I didn't feel good, then there's another day where I'm not getting stuff done, or I'm not being able to be with my children, and go hang out with Ryzen, or have a great day because I just wasn't feeling, I didn't have the energy, or I was suffering. So it's, when you look at the cost, it was not even adding up. It's just dumb. I
Yeah,
love it.
I mean, I am really to the spaciousness that everything that points itself out to us in front of our face, whether it's
Yeah.
like
Golly.
1111
Yeah.
or
Yay.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we've it's actually brought to our attention. These are the things and the signs and the signposts that are for us.
And how
It's just got to be that simple.
Yeah, and how many times are we brushing that stuff off? Like, I brush it off. I feel great, y'all. Just heads up to let you know. I do. I feel great since I had that. It actually was better than a massage. Like, I didn't know that I was gonna feel so much better. At first I was still like, huh. And then now when I wake up, I'm like, oh my gosh. But how many places and times have we brushed off the 1111 or the signpost? But yet we walked around and been like, just give me a sign and tell me stuff, right? We're asking for, how do I heal this? How do I, right? So we're asking all these times, but then when it's right in front of our face, and because it's too simple, that's too easy. We
Yeah.
discredit it,
Hmm.
or we make up other reasons, or we don't even acknowledge it, right? Like, I kind of wasn't even really thinking about why I was not wanting to do it. I just was kind of brushing it off all the time.
Hmm.
And it was costing me for about a
Yeah.
year. So dumb.
Yeah.
And that's a funny example, but there are so many places where our higher selves is absolutely trying to communicate with us, but we have free will. So they can't come in, our guides can't come in, our higher self will try to get our attention, uh, but they can't just go and orchestrate something, right? Because we came in to have these experiences and our own free will. Now,
Mhm.
if there are some instances where if you're going to get in a car wreck and, there might be some things where they'll kind of shift some stuff for you or protection, of course, but when it comes down to where we make our choices, where we are in, so these are our paths, right? And this is where we are in the field, and it goes like this, and it's everywhere. Where we come to these crux points in our fields, where we go on that path, this crux point, that decision is our choice.
Hmm.
It's our
Well,
free
and
will.
technically we could go to
Oh,
here
it's
and go
this way
back.
and that way and that way. And then it could go like this, and this one doesn't even have to touch that one. It could just be there because you quantum leaped.
Hmm.
But and that's the reason why we're here.
Yeah.
Don't let the lie
And
of the collective rule your world today
yeah.
or tomorrow or next day.
And I
Create.
think the other thing that we wanted to talk through, I guess, from here was really living your purpose and really allowing the universe to keep pushing you and keep pushing you and keep nudging you towards that thing that you actually like to do. that thing that you actually that gives you a ton of joy that and can also be a contribution back to you. I
Truthwave says, "Ooh, I love the premise of your episode today!" Exclamation point. Thanks, Truthwave on the chat. Truthwave energy meditation on the chat.
Mhm.
Thanks. Mhm.
Wow, I love this conversation because there's there's so much that we can go through. It's not just about, oh, these little identity shifts or these paradigm shifts in our mind, right? It's kind of now, how can we be one with the planet and allow the planet to navigate and guide us and really have our backs as far as,
Yes.
you know,
Joe's nodding
what
and
it
said,
wants to
yes,
show us.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that there was a world where I could literally lay on a bed and close my eyes and have somebody walk me through a hypnosis.
Mhm.
And that would take me to these various places that would then reveal something that is so great that could change my life forever. And that,
Yay.
I mean, I know hypnosis alone can, can change my point of view,
Yeah.
but it's very fun doing it in a way where you can go and actually explore what your subconscious actually wants to show you.
Mhm.
And I think that it would be really fun to, you know, for me to jump into this even more now through the
Yay.
hypnosis, right? Is
Yeah.
the journey through the subconscious mind.
And if you're wondering what we're talking about in this particular way, because there's different versions, but this is the official Dolores Cannon quantum hypnotic healing technique. And
Hmm.
so if someone else is portraying the QHHT in a different way, then you look for the one that was created through Dolores Cannon. She really worked to craft with her guides, with the extraterrestrials, this particular hypnosis session that really takes you with your higher source and self. And it's important to have that guide work with you too, because you don't want to going through your past life and wake up in the day of your your death and experience that without some supervision there. So just wanted to
Yeah.
give a little preamble.
But
One,
you can, I well,
yes,
just before
yes,
we
you
change,
can.
the one
Yeah,
thing I want to say is you can just simply lay down and close your eyes and say, show me,
absolutely.
right? That was the
Yes,
whole Tupperware thing the other day.
absolutely. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I love also working with the Akashic records, is because then you can work with your higher self connected to source.
Hmm.
And that can start to lead you. It's just sometimes for me, when I first heard myself, when I did my replay, when I listened to my replay, hearing myself say words that I don't even use in my regular vocabulary was fascinating. And I really believed after that that I was experiencing change. And I could really, really see what I was, again, visualizing through this session. The other
Yeah.
thing too is that we all have this capability. That's the reason why QHHT, Akashic Records, all these different wonderful speakers that we're going to have on with you, why they have different, they may be talking about the exact same subject, right? We have different people that come on and talk about Akashic Records, but it may, the way in which they reach people is different
Hmm.
because we are all different. And so whether it's something that Jenith shares or something that I share or one of the other 14 or 13 amazing speakers, it's as long as it lands with you and how you can take it and utilize it, because it is great if we have all this stuff that we're sharing with you, but if you can utilize it to change your vibration, to raise your vibration, then
Hmm.
that's what matters here.
Yeah.
That's what saves your life.
Yeah. Just a reminder, if you are listening on YouTube, to get in the summit. It's not going to be on YouTube. It's only going to have a moment that it lives there live. So if you don't watch things live, we do want you to opt in at www.houthustle.com QHHT.com, and that's where you can
You'll
start the
get your
whole
replays.
summit
Yeah.
experience and get the
Yeah.
replays and get the updates from the newsletter and what have you. Again, it's Hout Hustle. It's HAUTE hustle.com. And that's where you can get some of this information. You can join us on Zoom if you would like, and you can get the replays. But yeah,
Yeah.
we're excited to,
We are excited. Do we have I have the list of people that we
yeah.
have booked, and I wanted to kind of give you an idea of the different talk topics.
Yeah,
Let's
we've
see.
got like Reiki masters, we've
Yeah.
got astrologers, we've got a lot
Okay,
of channels.
so there's Hilary Faye on Monday. She'll be talking about the hormone harmonizer, the
Mm.
Victorian secrets to energetic alignment and wellness, featuring Hilary. And then Teresa Greco, she talks about the secrets of happiness, but she also is a very profound channeler, and she'll be working with her extraterrestrial brothers and sisters to bring us some insight. Let's see. We've got Judith Costa. She says love wakens through your Akashic field. So she'll be talking about that. Let's see. We've got Suzanne Alexandra. She'll be joining us again, and she works with the Mary Magdalene energies and the Akashic fields. Oh my gosh, she was phenomenal last time we had her on. And I think you're going to be in for a good treat. And then Tarek Beebe, his is
It's the
Infinity
affinity healing.
Healings. Yeah, this one's good too. To awaken your connection with the force. I mean, he has a lot of clearings that he does. Every time he came on, I always had tears, and Judith laughs because I always cry. But his was really good.
It's
And
beautiful. He's a
it moves
poet,
you.
musician, and he just plays in the field, not
Richard
frequently.
said, I love Hilary Bay.
Yeah.
And then we have Yolanda Williams, who runs a really popular Reiki radio podcast, and she'll be on talking about how you can really becoming the force of nature with Reiki. So it's going to be exciting. There's so much more on here. We've got Karen Tobiasen. She's a vet. She always comes on the show and blows our minds.
Minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got Alyssa Rushton, who y'all probably saw earlier last year. And she talked a lot about a DNA activation using sun too.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that
And
was
she
cool.
talks about manifesting miracles. And then Lena Frakeland, which will be a new face for us, is bridging.
I've interviewed her once in the past.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't, so I'm excited.
Excited. She's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's not too bad to look at too. Wow, she's
Oh, she's
super
gorgeous.
hot, dude. I'm like, go girl. Bridging ancient medicine and tech for global thrivability. Oh, I love that word, thrivability. It's been coming up a lot. One of the things too that brought up for me was when you're listening to some of these summits, and even any of the other podcasts that you might listen to, uh or just the different spiritual teachers that you have, look for words that might be you keep hearing that are coming up. So Jeneth and I have been making note of lots of people are talking about the Magdalene codes lately. Mary Magdalene. The word blueprint keeps coming up in different conversations. And the other one that's really coming up again, I'll see it in different forms. And it's really because our guides and the Galactic Federation is trying to get our attention. So they're using so many different channels to get this information out. With Saint Germain, for me, it was, Metatron. And but if you hear these little things, right, and maybe even more so like thrivability, the word thrive is really up right now. Make note of that. Then ask your higher self and source, what is this meaning for me? Because there's no better guru than our own selves. Guys, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be
I
a
know it's gonna be
great
so
day.
fun.
And days, Monday through Friday, 3 speakers a day. Woo,
And we're just gonna be live
I'm
for
tired of hearing
3
myself talk right
hours.
now.
We are going to be live for 3 hours. Yeah. Archangel Michael, that's another one
Yes.
that shows up.
That's what I was trying to look for. I couldn't remember that. I was like, what? It's Michael. Yes, Archangel Michael is the other one that a lot of,
Where's the Michael guy?
but I know, I was like, really trying to get our attention. And there was a gentleman that y'all might know him, is David Wilcock, just released a book about the Michael prophecies. There's another person, there was like 3 different people that had Archangel Michael meditations in their packages or in
Yeah.
their talks. If
Mm.
you see those coming up, if you're starting to see like a theme, write that theme down, write that one word down, and
Yeah.
then ask your source, what's that guide trying to tell you,
Mm.
right?
I used to call that whisper mapping in the
Yeah,
work.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. To
What
just
are those
whisper
whispers?
the whispers that are all
They're
around.
getting loud though.
Mhm. I just think it'd be really cool to channel Leonardo da Vinci. I'm like, now that
I
I know
just heard
that
the
I
words,
can channel something,
yeah,
maybe I
yeah,
start to like focus on others.
right.
Yeah.
And everywhere where anyone thinks that they can't channel or activate their own divine gifts or their psychic abilities, all of them are your divine gifts.
Mm.
We please destroy and uncreate that now,
Yes, please.
because that's a part of the lie. That's a big part of the lie. Anyone that thinks that what we're saying here has some point of view around it or wants to reject it or
Mm.
love it too much, we
Yeah.
destroy and create all that is.
Yes.
And take a breath.
And
Thank you.
I'd like to do something that I've never done, and I wanted to see kind of how you all felt about it.
Oh,
But
let's
I'm
go.
wondering if we as a collective could go and kill the I the the lockup and the limitation around some of these identity points of view, not just for you, but for the collective, and especially the destructive people that are destroying this planet. Can we just do a big energy bomb on everybody that has a point of view and it's killing this planet, please?
Yes.
One, two, and three. Oh, that feels
So for
lighter.
those on the audio, what we do is we just move our hands and create some friction, kind of like if you're like praying, but you just move them up and down. And then we put our hands to our chest and then we throw out this in big jazz hands, if you will, big energy bombs that we direct the
We connect
attention
with the
from our
field
body.
too.
Yeah.
We connect with the field.
Yeah.
So, and I want to give you one last little piece to play with today. And what if we would see things, everything in our world as having life? Maybe not being alive. I mean, truth, a rock is not really truly alive, but it has life and it's a creation and it's a Gaia creation. And if we look at Gaia as truly, maybe she's not a humanoid, but truly alive, and we look at, even our phones and our glasses and other things in our world as being a contribution that has life and contributes to our life, and we honor it that way instead of just being, a wasteful world,
Hmm.
where it's just like, oh, if I don't like it, I'll just rebuy it. I'll just buy it better, right? It's just,
Eek.
but I just think that we can just put out this energy of what if everything and all things had this conscious living and this conscious life that could create more. It's just kind of a way to
Yes.
play where we see these planets as alive instead of beating it up all the time. So just a thought.
No,
So
I love it.
Thursday, we're gonna play again with an encore with Anahata Holly, who has had this really cool channeling awareness,
Yes.
AI and Thoth. She's not the only one that I've heard that she's starting to
Me too.
channel through AI. And
Yes.
and I think
In fact, you
it'll
and I
be
were talking about
fantastic.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So she's coming on Thursday. It should be a really dynamic conversation. Also, want to remind you about the Mystique Society, which is tomorrow night with Leonka. I'm going to be in Virginia still playing with my kids, and my son works during the day, so I need to get out of this
Winner.
hotel room in the
Yes.
evenings.
Yes. Yes. Love it. AI
Absolutely.
gives us immortally. You're gonna have to. Imootalit. And I feel like it's like everywhere.
Immortality?
Maybe. They all have consciousness. Disagree about rocks since I communicate with them. Cool.
Well,
You know,
yeah, I mean, science doesn't say that they're alive, but I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't even talk about the Mystic Space weather news today. There's a the brand new report that came out that said that during a solar eclipse, the trees actually send out, they raise their vibration and
Hmm.
they respond previous to the eclipse, like hours before and after. And so, and they work with it. It's cute. It's dubbed the Wood Wide Web, where it also speaks with the fungi, and they have this really big intricate network of communication that can actually receive from these, electromagnetic pulses.
Hmm.
It's very, very fascinating, and it's all
Yeah.
peer reviewed. So we know that whenever we're having these experiences and whenever the sun is really talking to us and blasting us with light again, that not only are the trees receiving it, but we are too. Now, I did read another report that it does affect the heart. So it is important that and that's also peer reviewed, and I could share that paper on our Instagram site at Hustle Live and on my website too. But if it's affecting your heart, if it's changing, then we know that it's also affecting all of our biological structure. So again, super important to get the rest, to hydrate and to ground yourself. And then maybe reach out to somebody for connection too. It's important that we really, really keep each other. I'm just gonna use the word. We keep each other sane. Don't go crazy, y'all. Keep coming back here. Be with us if you have to. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday live at 9 a.m. Pacific. Guys, thank you so much for everything.
Yes, thank
Any
you
other
for your
announcements?
presence. Thank you
Yeah.
for your contribution. Thank you for your beautiful words on the chat. Thank you.